Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Monday. Hey, baby, how's it going?
Hey there, super. How are you?
Fantastic. It's a new week. It's a special day today. It's Columbus Day. We got a lot of other things going on today. We'll tell you all about that. And I have a guest. It's a pretty special week because this week is the opening of the movie Woodlawn. And if you've not seen the ads, go on to YouTube, type it in, and look at this. It's an awesome movie. We've actually had a chance to see the preview. Like, we saw the movie before it was finished.
Yeah.
Which was neat.
Amazing.
And it's based on a guy by the name of Hank Erwin. And I have an interview with Hank Erwin today, which is really cool. So that's coming up later in the program. Also, did you know that the latest auto trend is women over 60 rewarding themselves for raising kids and grandkids by buying themselves a hot, sporty convertible? What do you think of that?
Do you think that's really the latest trend?
No, they're saying that's the latest thing. That's the big deal these days. There's a lot of ladies that when they get to the certain age of their kids are gone and they got grandkids.
My mother, I don't think that's a new trend. My mother bought a sport car the second we moved out.
She is a visionary. That is why. All right, a lot of fun stuff coming up on the Monday show. Be sure to keep on listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
All right, tomorrow is the big day. We have Tuesdays with Charlie. But I'm going to teach you some things right now. Did you know that lawyers who appear on television are advised to not wear pinstripes or polka dots? You know why?
Why?
It makes them look untrustworthy.
Really?
Yeah. Did you know that in ancient Rome, people who wished to commit suicide would apply to the Senate, and if approved, they were given poison for free?
Really?
Yeah. And what do you think is the world's longest word in the English language? The longest English language word.
No idea.
It is
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
No, believe it or not, it's pneummonoultrasilicovolcanoconiosis, which means it's a lung disease from exposure to silica or silicon, akin to coal miners' black lung. So it's like similar to black lung, but if you ever get a package and there's like a little thing in there to keep things fresh and it says silica, do not eat.
Yeah.
If you eat that, you get pneummonoultrasilicovolcanoconiosis. There's a pronunciator underneath of it, otherwise I'd have no idea how to say it. It starts with a P, even though it's pneumono. So it's kind of like pneumonia, same kind of thing. Anyway, coming up here in a bit, we got some fun stuff. If only could pass one of his 9 lives on. We've got an interesting story on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
Oh, Heidi, you know it's true because you heard it on the radio. If you live at Steer House Nursing Home and Rehabilitation Center in Providence, Rhode Island, you don't want to visit from Oscar the cat. It's not a good thing. The facility treats people with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, and other illnesses, and Oscar has an uncanny knack for predicting who is going to die by curling up next to them during their final hours. His accuracy, this cat's accuracy, has been observed in 25 cases. It has now led the staff to call family members when they see Oscar, cozying up with somebody. It usually means they have less than 4 hours to live. How weird is that?
Oh.
Yeah.
I've heard about this cat, actually, and I think it's very sweet that he wants to spend time with them as their...
I don't know what the cat sees that we don't see.
Either that or he smothers them.
I don't know what's going on. Dr. David Doza said he doesn't make too many mistakes. He seems to understand when patients are about to die. The 2-year-old feline was adopted as a kitten. After about 6 months, the staff noticed that Oscar would make his rounds, just like all the doctors and nurses, and he'd sniff around and he'd observe patients. Their doctors and nurses sniff around? Oh, that's not what they meant. Anyway, then he would sit down beside people who would then wind up dying just in a few hours, which is kind of creepy. This is from the New England Journal of Medicine. It is real. This really is happening. It's hard to believe, but it really is happening. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Coming up, I've got something else you're going to hear on the radio. You know what you're going to hear?
What's that?
You're going to hear an interview with HankErwin. There's a new movie out this Friday. It's called Woodlawn. Brand new movie going to be out in the theaters this Friday, starring John Voight and Sean Astin. Actually, Sean Astin plays HankErwin in the movie. We're going to be talking to the real HankErwin here in just a little while on the John and Heidi Show. The trailer for the movie Woodlawn can be found on YouTube. It is actually a really good movie. Heidi and I have had a chance to see it. And like I said, excited to be talking to the real HankErwin here in just a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. A PEI man who turned off his television permanently with his .45 caliber handgun has been placed on probation. He had to undergo some counseling. Todd Francis Jollimore of Summerside pled guilty to careless use of a firearm. The provincial court there in Summerside heard that a neighbor called police after he stopped by to check on Todd and discovered that his television was shattered. He told the police he was watching TV and decided to shut it off with a round from his handgun. The next day, a search warrant found improperly stored ammunition along with 12 marijuana plants.
Whoa!
Judge Lance placed Mr. Jollimore on probation for 18 months, fined him $1,000 on drug charges, and ordered him to surrender the handgun. He was also ordered to undergo counseling. So, there you go.
But was it a legally owned handgun? How could they make him surrender his handgun?
I think when there's drugs involved, there are different charges. I'm not exactly sure how all of that goes, but I can tell you, you never turn your television off with a handgun. That's not a good idea. You don't do that.
We have one that when we move, that's how we're gonna put ours out of our misery.
Although that would probably help that TV.
That would be a blast.
Oh, it's got to weigh 900 pounds. It's such a big, heavy
thing. It would
thing.
Certainly make it easier.
Oh yeah,
and lighter to move.
Take it out in bits.
Yeah.
Anyway, all I can tell you is this dude's brain was definitely on drugs.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Now your moment of duh. An Iowa principal is in trouble after encouraging two students to arm wrestle to settle a dispute between the two of them. The arm wrestling resulted in one of the boys breaking his wrist.
Oh, no.
Now the parents are suing the school. The parents of Jose Gomez are suing Principal Vincent Lewis and the Des Moines School District for allowing negligence after their teenage son got his wrist broken during the match. A little arm wrestling match that went a little bit too far. Jose and another boy got into an argument in gym class over who won an arm wrestling match between the two of them. Principal Lewis said, "Hey, I got an idea. How about we just have a rematch? Let's do it." The Gomez family is asking a jury to compensate their son's injury, distress, and loss of earnings and his ability to enjoy life. So, a broken wrist. I don't know how old was he? He's a high school student.
First of all,
it's sad that this happened.
I have an issue with this because if they were arm wrestling to begin with,
yes,
it's not like this was just a random punishment that this principal pulled out of thin air and said, "Hey, you know what? You guys are arguing, so let's arm wrestle." He just
said, "How about a rematch, guys?
Do it again. Let's solve this right now."
So again,
I don't really have a problem with that.
I'm not exactly sure. I don't know all the details, but I agree with what you're saying there. Hey,
if I was on that jury, the family probably would not do.
All right. Well, good news. You're not going to be on that jury. All right. Moving on. Your scoop of the day is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. If you love pancakes and you love beer, then maybe you need some beer syrup. There's a beer syrup company in Louisville, Kentucky. Creator Russ Meredith says his syrups maintain a malty, sweet flavor that gives the impression of beer without being overwhelmed by beer. Don't know that I would necessarily
I wouldn't
need
want
that.
beer on my pancakes.
I don't know. A small scenic town in Austria played the host to more than 300 very hairy men over the weekend. This year's World Beard and Mustache Championships were held in Leogang, Austria, bringing the fuzzy competitors from around the world together to compete in 16 different categories organized into 3 groups. What do you think they are?
I have no idea.
Let me tell you. Mustache, full beard, partial beard. So what would I have? This partial beard?
Partial beard.
I have a goatee.
You have a goatee.
Or, as I heard it referred to, a goatee.
There's a kid that I went to high school with who joined an afro contest. Yeah.
Huh. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Hey,
he looked ridiculous.
Former Tonight Show host Jay Leno hit the road recently to go undercover as an Uber driver to promote his new show, Jay Leno's Garage. He would tell unsuspecting passengers that his name was Rocco and ask whether they would prefer to be driven by Jay Leno or David Letterman.
Oh, funny.
Hopefully at least somebody said Jay Leno, I hope. Hey, the remains of a woolly mammoth have been found under a soybean field in Michigan. That's where that was. They lost it 10 to 15,000 years ago. Woolly mammoths roamed the earth back then, 10 to 15,000 years ago, according to the scientists. And now they found one. Hey, Halloween's hottest costume might be one inspired by the New York Rat. There's a new costume out that sexy. There's one called Sexy Pizza Rat. Did you see the Pizza Rat?
No.
The rat that was dragging the giant slice of pizza up the steps?
Oh, yes, I did too. Yeah.
So his name is Pizza Rat. Well, there's a new costume out this year called Sexy Pizza Rat.
Who wants to be a pizza rat?
I don't know. Apparently, a lot of ladies, because it's one of the most popular searched costumes. So there are people that want to be a sexy pizza rat.
Whatever.
Heidi, just because you don't want to be a sexy pizza rat doesn't mean everyone else doesn't. 1 in 3 Americans are constantly worried about, Heidi, what do you think?
Money.
Money it is. A new survey found we are still feeling nervous from the recent recession and housing crisis. We are in constant fear of losing what we have today. More people are worried about finances than dealing with a loss of a family member.
Ooh.
Our main worries when it comes to money are living paycheck to paycheck or falling into serious debt. Which one of those are you afraid of, or both?
Both.
Can we add some others to the list?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Civil rights for robots? What?
Oh, my gosh.
Do you
ever just want to bash your head into the desk during the show? Because that's the way I'm feeling.
That's not what I want at all. I wouldn't mind shooting my computer like that guy did in a different story. But no, listen to this. A study released by the British government said someday robots might have, they could become so advanced that they could demand their independence. Isn't there a movie about this?
Oh, my God.
Wasn't there a movie with Robin Williams where this happened? The UK Office of Science and Innovation foresees a day when robots, I was only saying robots earlier for people who watch the Goldbergs. You're welcome, by the way. When robots would be able to reproduce and think for themselves. But don't look for a robot revolution anytime soon. The study says independence for robots probably won't be any sort of issue for at least another 100 or 200 years. So here's an idea. Quit thinking about it. Just move on. Do something that matters now. All right, moving on. Until real people have all of the rights that they were granted by God, I don't think we should even be concerned about robots. You sure? What about the robots, though, Heidi? Hey, it's interesting that you would bring God into this because I'm moving on to our strange law. Take a listen to this. In the state of Vermont, it is illegal to deny the existence of God. That's illegal in the state of Vermont. Huh. I'm not saying that I think that's a good idea because I love the idea of people having the right to choose. Now, I, for one, believe... And the right to express your beliefs. Exactly. I, for one, believe that there is a God, but I don't want to say that you need to believe because it's the law. I think you should believe because you believe. But that's your strange law. And this has been... Oh, by the way, that was in Vermont, for those of you who are saying, where was that? Vermont. That's your strange law. This has been your Scoop of the Day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. There's a movie that's going to be in theaters starting this Friday. It's a movie called Woodlawn. My beautiful wife Heidi and I have had a chance to see this movie already. It's a great movie, and it's a movie about a real event that happened. And the gentleman that's featured in the movie, he's being portrayed by Sean Astin. And the gentleman that's featured in this movie, his name is Hank Erwin. I had a chance to catch up with Hank, and here's my interview with him.
John, glad to be with you, my friend. How are you?
Very, very good. It's been really fun to visit with you here over the last couple of days. We were at a conference together. Now, you guys have a movie that's coming out that you know a little something about this movie, Woodlawn. It's coming out this week. Tell me a little bit about the movie.
Oh, it's so exciting, John, because Woodlawn is a movie that comes from a bedtime story. My boys are the makers of it, Andy and John Erwin. They're known as the Erwin brothers. And this is a story they grew up with when they were children. And at night when they would go to bed, I would tell them Woodlawn stories of the great football team in Birmingham in 1973 and 74 that gave their season to the Lord and decided to play for the glory of God, and the amazing things that happened. So they grew up with those stories all of their lives, and they would say, Daddy, one day we're going to make that into a movie. And of course, as a proud daddy, I'd say, well, you go for it, boys, anytime. And sure enough, here about 35 years later, they have made it into a motion picture to tell that story, and it is amazing. Not only is it a good movie, it is an Academy Award type movie. The cinematography, the effects, the people, the acting, it is a beautiful movie that everybody's going to enjoy watching. Woodlawn, the story of the high school football team in Birmingham, Alabama.
Now, the football team, when all of this happened in real life, you were a part of this. So there's a character in the movie played by Sean Astin that's playing Hank Erwin. When this team came together and started working together, and they made a huge impact on their community that's still seen today, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yeah, one people would probably say, well, where did they get the bedtime stories from? Well, I was the chaplain of the football team, so I lived that journey in 1973 and 74 where I became the chaplain of a football team that didn't have much talent, but they had a lot of heart. They gave their hearts to the Lord, and they decided to play for the glory of God. And I had the chance and the honor of being able to guide them through 2 seasons as their chaplain to see all of these remarkable things that happened. So they became bedtime stories, and then as a result, they're now the motion picture. And as a result, we've got Sean Astin plays me, and I'm humbled by that. Then John Voight plays Bear Bryant. And then we have a new youngcomer by the name of Caleb Castile that plays the main character in the movie, Tony Nathan. So it's a remarkable story that actually happened. So that when people see that, and they probably say, oh, that didn't happen. Yes, that was a story that happened, and I was delighted to be a part of it.
And now the Erwin brothers, your sons, first of all, you got to be pretty darn proud of those guys. This is not their first movie. What are some of the other movies people might know?
Well, you're right. This is not their first movie. They broke into the business about 4 or 5 years ago with their unexpected hit called October Baby, a big pro-life film that everybody has seen and enjoyed. And then they just came back a couple of years later and made that hysterical comedy called Mom's Night Out. And now they are coming back with number 3, which is their blockbuster called Woodlawn. And so they have quite an experienced background of making quality movies. So this is the type of movie that goes back to the old days where you make a quality movie with no bad language, no sex scenes in there. You could take your 2-year-old grandchild to see it and be perfectly happy to eat a bag of popcorn, drink a little Coca-Cola, and enjoy a great film. That's the way my boys come at it. Andy is my oldest son. He's 37. John is 33. Both of them have a calling of making quality Christian motion pictures, and this one is exciting, and it's award-winning.
It's very exciting right now when you think about what just happened Labor Day weekend. We had a movie called War Room come out, and it was the #1 movie in America. So a faith-based film, a Christian film, beating out the regular Hollywood stuff. That's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Oh, that's truly exciting. Now, we know the Kendrick brothers. Alex and Stephen are good friends of ours. They made the movie Courageous and Fireproof, and they made the one about facing the Giants, the football movie. They also have made this movie here, War Room, which is an excellent movie on prayer. We are so excited for them, but it just gives the quality of Christian movies that are coming out are so exciting. It is so exciting to have all of these Christian movies coming out at the same time. And Woodlawn is the best of them all. So everybody's going to love it.
And I've had a chance. My wife and I are Christians. Our family has been to several of these movies. And even though the movie comes out this week, I have to admit, I had a chance to get a sneak preview. And you were at the event that I went to. That's where I first had a chance to meet you. It is an amazing movie. Now, the one that we saw wasn't completely finished, and you said they're going to have all the sound effects. And like when we watched it in the stadium, there were like tarps that were covering things, so it's going to be all filled in. So the magic of the movies will be in the finished product that we're going to see. It comes out this week. If there's somebody listening right now, I'm going to tell you this: even if you're not a fan of football, I'm not a football fan. but I loved this movie. You don't have to be a football fan to love this movie. So if you're going, that's about a football team, I'm not really into that. I'm not a football guy. I went to this movie. I loved it because the story is an amazing story.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. People of all persuasions just love this movie. It connects with people. It tells the story of a high school torn by racial violence, a team in turmoil, black versus white. It's the awful setup for the story of a team that reflects the whole attitude of a school that says we're going to have to close it down because the violence is so bad, and how Jesus changed the team, changed the school, and changed the whole community. So anybody who has a desire to see a quality movie with redemptive qualities like that, they're going to love Woodlawn.
And I've got an idea that I would love to see people do this all across the country. This week, reach out, call your high school in your community and say, how many kids are on the team? Buy a ticket for each and every one of them, because there are colleges that all summer long have been seeing this, and it's made huge changes to their teams and to the quality of the player as a person. This would be such a great thing to do to every single high school all across the country.
Yeah, and that's happening all across the country. There's an attempt to get 1 million high school students to the movies this week so that they can see Woodlawn. And there are businessmen all across America that are buying tickets in bulk, buying out theaters, whole theaters, and making sure that every student has a ticket to go see this movie. So there may be people listening to your show that are saying, hey, listen, I can do that. I want to do something. Well, here's what you can do. You can go to Woodlawn the Movie on .com, woodlawnmovie.com, or the National Christian Foundation.com, and then you can buy tickets there and then distribute them to high school students that can go see the movie at a theater of their choice. There are communities taking football teams in mass in their colors on the buses to see the movie, and it's having a tremendous impact on those teams. So many things you can do. It's going to be a fascinating time. Everybody's going to love it. I really believe it's going to change America.
I do as well. And Hank, thank you very much for all that you've done, and if you could do me a favor and thank your sons for putting out great movies.
Well, John, I'll do that, and you keep up the good work. You're doing a great work for America. Keep that program on and helping people come to Jesus. You'll be blessed, and I will be so proud. Thank you so much.
Once again, that's Hank Erwin. The movie Woodlawn is actually about his life and something that happened in his life. Again, the movie is called Woodlawn, in theaters this Friday. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by CarsForSale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at CarsForSale.com.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. It's Monday, the 12th day of October, which means Columbus Day is today. It's observed in most of the country. Now, there are some states that don't observe Columbus Day. They observe Native American Day. So happy Columbus Day, happy Native American Day, depending on where you're listening. Today is also Day of the 6 Billion. I don't know what that means. Emergency Nurses Day, Free Thought Day, National Bring Your Teddy Bear to Work and School Day, International Top Spinning Day, National Fossil Day, National Take Your Parents to Lunch Day. Kids, are you listening? Take your parents to lunch today. Also, it is Save Day, which means Stop America's Violence Everywhere Day. Spanish Language Day, Stop Bullying Day, World Arthritis Day, and International Moment of Frustration Scream Day.
Wow, that's a busy day.
Which one of those are you going to celebrate?
Columbus Day.
I think you're going to celebrate the scream thing. Just a little bit ago, you were talking about how you wanted to scream about some of these stories we have. So celebrate Fossil Day by taking your parents out to lunch or something like that. Thanks for joining us on this Monday, the 12th day of October.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
We appreciate joining us on this Monday. I've got a fun little thing here. It's the quickest way to kill a marriage is to not argue. What? Does that sound kind of weird?
Oh my gosh, we're
going to be together
forever.
We had such an argument the other day; it was ridiculous. And you blamed it on me, but I know it was my fault and yours.
You argue like a child.
Hey, I'm not a good
Blow
arguer.
things. No, you're not.
I'm not.
Blow things way out of proportion.
Well, take a listen to this. If you're angry at him for leaving dirty dishes in the sink, say so. If you're upset with her for ignoring you at the end of a long day, speak up. Holding it in is a bad idea. It says if you have the idea of not starting an argument, they think that that's a good thing. It's the fastest way to kill a marriage. Why? It creates emotional distance. The Reverend David Code, an Episcopal priest, family coach, and author of To Raise Happy Kids, Put Your Marriage First, says, couples today are quick to suppress the urge to argue with one another. But just because you seldom argue doesn't mean your marriage is strong. The real silent killer of a marriage is distancing yourself from your partner. He writes in a column published in Christian Science Monitor, Code insists that couples should worry more about their flight response, which is the instinct to avoid your partner, than their fight response, which is the instinct to argue. So according to this story, they're saying it's good to argue. It's not good to just walk away from it and say, that's it, I'm done. I'm going to leave. And then you don't resolve anything. Didn't we just go through that?
That is the way you handle. You're like, whatever, and then you walk out and slam the door, and you think you won.
And then I come back a minute later, and I'm like, by the way, I think you were right about all that. I think you're absolutely.
I don't believe that has ever happened. I love how you're trying to make yourself sound
20
grown up on the radio.
Having 20 seconds to think about that. You were absolutely right. I'm a big old moron.
You're so full of crap.
Okay. Well, something like that. Anyway, if you want to argue, that's a good thing. It means you're going to be together forever. So. Good. Hey, happy forever. All right. Coming up, You Light Up My Life. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Heidi, when you were a kid, did you ever bring a flashlight to bed and sit under the covers and read your book?
No.
You never did anything like that?
No, I never needed to. I just...
Turn on a light?
Turn on a light.
Well, soon kids will no longer need flashlights thanks to some new technology a Scottish engineer has been working on. It's a book whose pages glow in the dark.
Oh, that's cool.
From the category of things I didn't know we needed, Professor Janos Hatto of the Napier University in Edinburgh has combined a light-emitting dye with thin plastic sheets to produce a page that creates its own light. The invention means books could be developed that actually glow in the dark and make the letters glow above the pages. Here's the first thing I can think of. I think my eyes would bug out of my head. I don't think I could read that. I think that would just be, whoa, so hard to read.
That's cool. I would buy some of those books.
There you go. I can't even, I don't like reading on like the little tablets and stuff. My eyes get
neither.
Oh, so I can only imagine if it was paper and it was hovering above the page from the looks of it. That'd be tough. Coming up, we got a story about some funny money. It's on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
Got a story here about some funny money, honey.
Alrighty.
Just wanted to say all that. I noticed you don't really care. Hey, if you're planning on getting into counterfeit bills, make sure you know which denominations are available and are actual legal tender. A bank teller opened an account for a woman who presented a $1 million bill. Check again. The largest denomination still being printed in the United States is $100. But the financial flake in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, took the funny money and started a fund for a 24-year-old woman. The dippy depositor withdrew the dough and transferred it to her hubby's account. Authorities eventually caught on to the greenback game, and the woman was charged with 16 counts of theft by deception. She's being held on a $25,000 bond. This is the thing. I don't know what's more ridiculous, that somebody printed $1 million bill or that somebody worked at a bank and actually took in $1 million bill.
Yeah, well, people
Which one of those confuses you more? The largest bill that is still in circulation now that's being used is a $100 bill, but they've had $500 bills and they've had $1,000 bills. And if you get those, keep those because they're worth way more than face value. Our son is a collector. He's numismatically inclined. Yeah, which means he collects money. And he he would love to get his hands on one of those. Like I said, a $500 bill or a $1,000 bill. And I said, I'd get you someday, but I don't have that kind of change on me anyway. So even if I bought it at face value, you still ain't getting
He just joined the Navy. Maybe when he graduates from boot camp,
There you go.
We'll get him one of those as a gift.
Yeah, my little Navy boy. Coming up, a dog dials 911 and saves his owner's life. One more story that tells me my dogs are not earning their keep. It's coming up in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1 plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Just this morning, I was telling you how much I love our dogs. I was snuggling. They jump in the bed with us, and I snuggle with our little puppy dogs and play, and they're just so much fun. After reading this story, I think we really need to maybe consider getting better dogs, because our dogs couldn't do this. An amazing story of a dog who saved a person's life. Jeanette Darby was unconscious when her dog Ben nudged the phone off the hook with his nose and then paw dialed 999. Now, that would be like our 911. This was in England. Officers heard a dog barking on the line. Although they thought it was a prank, they did dispatch a patrolman. The dog, trained to open the door for his deaf-mute owner, let the police in and led them to her. She was unconscious on the floor. Ben, the puppy dog, is apparently no ordinary dog. He's been trained to knock the receiver off the hook when it rings, and he's trained to press the oversized 9 buttons when he senses an emergency. Darby has a condition that causes her to lose consciousness at times, so she's required to have a dog with this specialized training.
That is amazing.
Our dogs can't do any of that. I've told them many times. I'm like, hey, guys, turn off the TV. Turn it off. There's the remote. It's right by you. And they just look at me like, well, I don't even speak English. So this dog can call 911, or I guess officially it's 999 in England. But our dogs can do none of that. What is the coolest thing our dogs can do?
Not a lot.
Our dog Mandy can dance the Thriller dance, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
And she doesn't even know that. She's just
Thriller
standing on her back legs, and the way she does it, it looks like she's doing the Thriller dance. She's really just standing on her back legs. We're really giving her more credit than she deserves. I mean, she can't even dial 911. What kind of dog is this? All right, coming up, we have some good news for you. Thanks for joining us on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
We always like to end things on a positive note, at least as positive as we can. I thought this was kind of a cool story. For anybody that's going to be doing any traveling, if you happen to come upon a little place in the Midwest called Minneapolis, St. Paul, their international airport, you're going to be treated to an extra special view this fall. Listen to this, Heidi. Landscape artist Stan Hurd has been working to create a large-scale replica of Van Gogh's olive tree painting, which can now be seen by aircraft passengers flying into the Twin Cities. The piece of art is the Mia's 100th anniversary celebration. Over the past 2 seasons, Mr. Hurd has been working with dirt and plants and other bits of nature to recreate Van Gogh's iconic painting. So this is a giant image that you can see from the sky. So if you're flying into the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, look out the windows and appreciate this amazing thing this guy's doing. How in the world would you even get the idea to come up with something like that? What are you laughing at? You think this is the dumbest thing ever done?
I think it's ridiculous.
I think it's really cool.
You would.
I'm putting it on our Facebook page. If you want to see it, you can go check it out. I'm going to put it on our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And if you go on there and check it out, you'll have to comment if you think it's cool or if you think it's lame like Heidi.
I just think it's fantastic that apparently Minneapolis has no fiscal worries whatsoever. Their economy is perfect. They have absolutely nothing to focus on.
Hey, let's bring in a landscaper and make a giant piece of art out of
airport.
Sticks and twigs and stuff. No, it's not at the airport. It's as they're flying into the airport. So does that make it more impressive?
No.
That it's not? Okay, I thought maybe that was it. All right. Well, it's time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break, only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And the bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club, where you can go to save money on razors, and they'll bring them right to you. The only thing they won't do is shave you. Although we have not asked. Maybe they would for the right price.
I don't know. I can't focus. I need you.
You keep pointing
to
over
kill
there.
that spider.
Where? I don't even see it.
Huge.
Where is he?
Spider just crawled behind my framed copy of the Declaration of Independence, and
You keep your eye on that. I'm almost done with this, and then I'll go over and splatter that sucker all over the place. Will that make you happy?
Yes.
Should we do that during the podcast? All right, I'm going to tell you this first. The Dollar Shave Club brings us this fabulous bonus break that we are completely well prepared for every single day. I only apologize that the whole Dollar Shave Club thing, I don't know if I'd want my name attached to this bonus break. We're going to keep doing it, though.
I don't think they probably want their name attached to this bonus break. I don't think they know, do they?
No, I've never asked them. We just do it. And one of these days, I might get a cease and desist letter or something. But if you'd like to learn more and maybe sign up to be a razor lover like I am, go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio. So before we get started with our bonus break.
Are you going to? Oh, my gosh. I can't.
See if I can swing.
Oh, my gosh.
Which one is he behind here?
The Declaration.
Right here?
Yes.
Right.
You don't know what oh, my gosh. John. Oh! Is it on the picture?
He's not on there. That means, oh, hey, there he is. Oh, that little tiny thing?
John, oh, my God. Don't you bring it over here. I will.
All right. I'm going to just squish this little.
Oh!
Here you go. He's gone. That's seriously? You're afraid of that? All right. Rehang that here.
Thank you.
That's seriously?
Yeah. Throw that away.
Wow. There's your bonus break. I better do a little more than that. Ta-da! Hey, you know the dangers of driving while intoxicated? Well, texting and driving are almost as bad. They say a study claims that driving while daydreaming could be just as bad as well. The study released by Erie Insurance Group says driving while daydreaming could be 5 times more dangerous than driving while texting or talking on your phone. Erie's findings say 62% of all fatal distracted driving incidents in the U.S. are the result of a driver being, quote, lost in thought. Does that ever happen to you?
Oh, all the time.
Huh.
All the time.
I don't really get a chance to think while I'm driving.
No, because you're too busy talking on the phone and texting.
No, I'm not. Talking on the phone, yes, but not texting. By comparison, 12% of distracted driving fatalities resulted from driving while using a mobile phone. So they're saying 62%, 50% more people have accidents because they were just thinking. So is it going to be illegal to do any thinking while driving?
Okay, first of all.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous statistic because everyone who gets in an accident is thinking while they're driving. So really that number should be 100% of all people who get in an accident were thinking at the time.
What happened at the time of the accident? I don't know. I sure wasn't thinking. I know that. If that's what you're trying to say. I have a defense, Your Honor. I was absent-minded at the moment. I have no clue. I don't know exactly how they calculated that. And it said of fatal accidents. So that means somehow these people died, yet they told them the reason for my accident is because I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any thinking that was happening while they were doing that study. All right. Our final thing before I kill another spider for an encore. In Muncie, Indiana, a woman watching television in her nightgown raced from her bedroom and went after a man after he stole some golf clubs from her porch. Ms. Davis was, she said first she grabbed a knife after a neighbor yelled to tell her, hey, there's a man taking your golf clubs, then decided instead to attack him with a 10-inch cooking pot. She says, I started beating him with the pot, and he asked for it. The attack slowed Timothy Simpson until police arrested him outside of her home. So she showed up.
She chose the pot instead of the knife that she
didn't want to kill him. She wanted to beat the snot out of him. So he was trying to steal the golf clubs. She went out with a 10-inch pot, 10-inch cooking pot. So it'd be like a pan or a pot, whatever. And she pounded on this dude until the cops got there. That was in Muncie, Indiana. That's what she did to protect her golf clubs.
I would have chosen the knife myself, but
you wouldn't have had to choose a knife. You'd have gone out with a gun.
I would have had my gun. Yeah, I would have had my gun.
You'd have taken care of that issue. That guy wouldn't be golfing anytime soon. But you would have definitely given him a hole-in-one.
Yes, I would have. Several.
I think it's time for me to say goodbye. We're done with this. We're done with this bonus break. Brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. By the way, for anybody listening from PETA, that spider had it coming.